Welcome back and thank you for staying with today here on eNCA. My name is Sindy Mabe, standing in for Refiwa Madzena. South Africa will soon get an update on the progress or lack thereof in the fight against high unemployment. The quarterly labour force survey for the third quarter of 2023 will be released on Tuesday. So, question is, what can we expect from the Statistics South Africa and what they will reveal as results for the survey on Tuesday? Labour analyst Michael Bagraim joins us via Zoom with some expertise. Michael, good afternoon to you and thank you so much for joining us. Of course, the quarterly results essentially collects information on household activities or take samples from a particular age group that are in a working period or have worked before. Explain to us how it works before we get into the meat of the story.
Thank you. Yes, they only take a sample, but they take samples from various industries and the chambers of commerce. It's actually, South Africa is quite good at the sampling they do for the quarterly reviews. So they've been quite accurate up until now, and let's hope that the government carries on giving them some money to do these reviews because the business community needs it quite desperately. And as we come to the end of the third quarter, they've done that sampling and they have promised us that they'll give us that sample report at the end of this quarterly review, which happens to be on next Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to it with any positivity, unfortunately, so I don't have good news for me. I hope I'm wrong, but I suspect very strongly that I am correct. Invariably, the quarter three is a little bit down anyway and has been for the last 15 years because we have the big industry, for instance, in the Cape and KwaZulu-Natal is the tourism, and that has come to a standstill, obviously, in the quarter three. That we're seeing. So that was the big move. The other thing is it's always the Western province, and for the last 3 years now, that has been creating the jobs. And that Western province does rely quite heavily on the tourism industry. So, we're not expecting great shakes. I think that the Cape province will show the best. And I think just behind it will probably be KwaZulu-Natal. But as you can well imagine, electricity, the collapsing rand, the infrastructure collapsing in South Africa, basically every single parastatal is bankrupt. It's not conducive to business at all. Our government, unfortunately, has almost destroyed our ability to create jobs, which is a real problem.
And the problem also being that the certain sectors that are under pressure and currently facing some form of protest, if it's not wage negotiations, but they're also laying off quite a substantial number of their workforce, primarily in the mining sector, Michael. And this would reflect on your Q3 report, where the retrenchments are inevitable and companies have to opt to lay off their labor.
Absolutely. In fact, they're busy doing it now, and I think that might have a bigger influence on Q4. Maybe not so much this one, but the mining industry in South Africa has been on a downhill, slippery slope for about 3 or 4 years now. And as you understand, the mining industry is the backbone of South Africa, and international prices for our commodities have gone down as well. So it's very difficult to compete with the world when we don't have infrastructure. And of course, the world don't want to invest in mining in South Africa anyway, because of the government inability to make sure that the industry is properly handled. It's a real problem. So in essence, I think we are going to see that. We're going to see that mining is down. Probably manufacturing will be down as well, because we can't even get our goods to the ports. No one wants to come here to get goods manufactured. So manufacturing is, after mining, is the biggest, and it should be the biggest, but we're not going to see much movement there at all. It's a sorry picture. And again, I'm saying to you, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't believe I will be. I've been watching this now for about 20 years, and we're going from bad to worse. We're on a slippery slope. Our government has, unfortunately, not been conducive to job creation. We need to change this. It's a desperate situation we are. Every single family is suffering from unemployment. Every single family, it doesn't matter whether they're middle class or not. They're all suffering. And as you can well imagine, The unemployment in the townships is the worst we've ever seen in 20 years. And it's unbelievable. So we're looking at the figures. Under the age of 25, it's about 70% unemployment. Now, that's not tolerable anywhere in the world. Any government in the world with that sort of unemployment would resign immediately. It'll never happen here, of course.
Yeah, but Michael, the job of government to govern and be lawmakers is not necessarily to create employment, is more to create an environment where business is able, especially your small, medium enterprises. Just looking at that kind of government obligation and the monies that have been allocated towards supporting SMEs, and whether that has even shifted the needle when it comes to that sector being able to absorb the necessary skills in the marketplace.
No, it hasn't. I think the money is almost wasted. It's sad to say, it's almost wasted. The bottom line is they need to create the environment. You're absolutely right. How do you create environment? Well, you loosen up the labor laws, which are now at the moment a handbrake to job creation. Our labor laws are some of the most strict in the world. And when the only answer that our Minister of Employment and Labour, Thulas Nkezi, could say was that he's going to make it more strict. Now, that doesn't make any sense. When you see what's going on with the job market, you know that your government has to create an environment which is conducive to job creation, and you're doing exactly the opposite. We're moving down the wrong path. It's a communist reaction, and unfortunately, that's where our minister comes from.
That's where we're going to leave it, Michael. Of course, we'll touch base with you when the results are actually out on Tuesday. But thank you for your insights. That is Labour analyst Michael Bagraim, looking ahead to Tuesday's quarterly labour force surveys that Statistics South Africa will be releasing. But do stay with us here.